Hello guys and welcome to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tom. I'm a PGA golf professional based at Norwood Park in Southwell here in the UK, and today we're going to be talking about a bit of a sensitive subject amongst golfers. But first of all, before we get stuck in, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss any future golf related content. If you enjoy this video, then please do smash the like button down below as well. It really helps. Now, to get stuck into it today, we are indeed talking about the Shanks. Okay, now this is something that is very much a feared subject amongst golfers. You're not even allowed to mention it in conversation when you're up in the bar after. There is really this fear that Shanks is almost a disease, if you like, that if you catch, you're not going to be able to get rid of very easily. Now, the Shanks definitely has a mental kind of side to it. I think if you've struggled with Shanks in the past, it often can get in your head and start really influencing your game in a negative way, because it is a very destructive shot. Okay, if you get strikes from the hosel, you get Shanks, they are going to fly way to the right for a right-handed golfer, and even if they don't, you're still going to get very poor strikes, lacking distance and often in the wrong direction. So first of all, I want to discuss where a shank comes from. But before I do, I want to just stress, if you are struggling with Shanks, make sure you go and get yourself a lesson. Go and get a lesson with a PGA professional, because ultimately I can't see you, I can't see specifically what is causing your Shanks, but hopefully I'm going to give you an idea of where the Shanks come from and give you some tips to try and improve your ball striking as a whole, and then hopefully you can start to improve your Shanks and try and iron them out of your game as well. Now, obviously being a teaching pro, I get a lot of people coming to me with the Shanks wanting to get them solved, and I hear this phrase a lot from these kind of people. They often say the shank kind of comes from nowhere. Okay, they're hitting some nice shots, they're playing good golf, and all of a sudden they get a shank, it then gets in their head and starts destroying the rest of their game. Now, I'll let you into a little secret here. The Shanks definitely don't come from nowhere. Most golfers that say this, I then say, right, okay, let's have a look at your strike pattern. Let's see where your good strikes, as you call them, are on your club face. And more often than not, those strikes are very close to the hosel. So it doesn't take much for those strikes to then turn into a shank. So it's really important to first get an understanding of where your strike pattern is. And no better way to do that than using this stuff. Okay, this is called face tape. It's just a little sticker that you stick over the top of your club face, and it's going to give you some feedback as to where you've struck it. You can also use foot spray. There's other methods as well. Just basically the idea is just to get some feedback of where you're striking it on the club face, because I guarantee you, if you struggle with strikes, where you perceive the middle of the club face to be when you hit a good one often is quite far away from that. Okay, so I'm going to hit a shot now. I'm going to try and strike it towards the heel if I can, and we're just going to take a look at that face tape and see where the strike was specifically. Now, once you've got a sense for where you're striking on the club face, you'll notice if you are someone that's shanking it, you will be favouring slightly towards the heel. So how do we start moving that strike location further towards the middle? Obviously, we're all human, our strikes are going to differ slightly, but if your general pattern is towards the heel, it's inevitable that you're going to get a shank now and again. So if we can move that strike location further towards the middle, i.e. closer towards the toe, we can hopefully avoid getting those shanks. So how do we do that? How do we get those strikes moving towards the toe side of the club rather than being in the heel? Now, it's actually relatively simple, and I don't want you to overcomplicate it and think too much about where your club is in space, but I want you to just practice this drill, give it a go, and just try and see if you can generate a little bit more of a feel and a bit of a sense for where you're going to strike on the club face. So if I set up to this golf ball now, use this as a drill, I call this the miss drill. I set up to this golf ball. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and swing back. Even though I'm set up to this golf ball, I'm going to swing back and try and miss that golf ball on the inside. It's dead easy to do, but you might think, oh God, that's surely a little bit dangerous, but it's really not. It's easy to do than you think. Take the club back, swing down on the inside, miss the ball on the inside. Now, as I'm doing this drill, what I'm doing is I'm pushing my centre of gravity away from the golf ball. So to try and get that club to come back here, I'm having to move my centre of gravity this way and almost pull the club in towards me a little bit. That is encouraging the club to come towards me and therefore strike closer towards the toe. Another way you can kind of enhance this drill, if you're feeling really confident, is to set up two golf balls. To set up to the outside golf ball, swing back and hit the inside ball. you're feeling confident, take it through to that. But all you're doing is getting a sense for where your club is in relation to the golf ball, okay? It's dead simple stuff, and it's just about improving your ability to strike different locations on the club face. Once you've got a sense of how to move that strike location, it's then much easier to start bringing that strike location further away from the hosel and more towards the toe. So I'll give that drill one more go. I'm going to set up to the outside ball, pull my centre of gravity towards me during the downswing, and hit the inside ball. Now you're never going to hit great shots doing that, because obviously your focus is kind of switching from one ball to the other, but that's not the point. The point is you're trying to improve your sense of where your body is, where your centre of gravity is, and where the club is in relation to the golf ball, and hopefully improve strikes as a result. Another method that I like to use if you are really struggling is grab a head cover or any kind of object that you're not too worried about if you do end up hitting it, and just place it down at the side of the golf ball. Kind of give yourself plenty of room, but just kind of an inch or so away from the toe of the club, and just having that little bit of visual, having something there to actually miss, might just give you that little bit more of a sense of bringing the club towards you. So I'm just going to swing again, try and miss the head cover on the inside. Now I've overcompensated there and struck towards the toe, but those of you that do shank it certainly won't mind striking towards the toe, because it's a much more playable shot. But again, I cannot stress enough, if you are really struggling, get yourself to a PGA Pro. Go and have a lesson, because they can see specifically what faults are causing your shanks. It's not just caused from your centre of gravity, it can be caused from the club travelling in an undesirable path. There's all sorts of things that can be happening to create the shank, but ultimately I just think if you can improve your sense of where you're striking on the club face and actually move that strike location without any swing thoughts, if you like, of where the club is, you know, getting the club in a certain position and what have you, or changing your setup, I think it will really help your ability to become a better ball striker as a whole. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it's helped you to at least get an understanding for where the shanks come from, and hopefully you won't be so fearful of having the conversation with someone else about the shanks now. If you enjoyed the video, then please do smash the like button down below again, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.